My talk is actually divided into two small sessions. So basically, I'm just going to introduce how we achieved the digital transformation with Niyogin, and then I'll invite our customer and our colleague, Mr. Srivaths Varadharajan, on stage to talk broadly about how the implementation was actually done. So moving forward, when it comes to digital, our learning is that when you plan to do some digital business or some digital model, it is not one thing that you do. It's not one portal that you build or one mobile app you build. You actually look at also the way of doing things. And when you say the way of doing things, it also means thinking about the customer journeys, the partner journeys, and having a platform approach which can interweave all these journeys together for a seamless customer experience. Digital is real and rewarding also when it is not just a technology implementation project. So for example, in case of Niyogin, what we also did was create new value chains and business opportunities for partners. So when we were onboarding partner, we were not just onboarding them. We were also making sure that at the end of it, they actually get a microsite, which is an internet-enabled, DNS-enabled site available onto the internet straight away, and where they can originate their loans. So when you are actually creating these partner onboarding similar interfaces, you are actually discovering new business opportunities as well, new way of doing things. So inherently, the digital is real and rewarding when it creates that very creative disruption in the marketplace also. Exceptional customer experience is another thing that we have focused on. So for example, a lot of the initial period that out of the 7-month implementation, initial period was actually spent on understanding customer journeys. All we were doing was modeling the customer journeys and partner journeys and exactly what they are going to do when they come onto the particular platform. The technology came later. The platforming and the solution came later. This is just to give you an idea of the landscape. So effectively, we have used the Liferay Digital Experience Platform. There's a lot about Liferay on the booth that we have outside. Liferay and InfoAxon have a booth together. So Liferay is the digital experience layer, you can call it. This is where the digital experience for all the onboarding and the customers and the partners is being created. On top of it, we have created an API framework called Pylon, which is basically a service layer. This is one of the outputs, one of the major digital transformation outputs that has actually come out. We have integrated with about 50 different government and non-government agencies, private players as well, to assist the onboarding process or to assist the whole loan origination process. And then we tie together using this service layer the underlying IT systems. Our role from InfoAxon side is to stitch it together, to make sure that the business and technology integration is perfect and the solutioning around it. I just want to also talk about this little example of the digital transformation that we have been able to do. We call it API Pylon, and what we have achieved is, if we were to use it for another customer or another NBFC, we have a pre-bundled integrations with all of these services for Aadhaar, PAN, and this is a platform we created in Node.js using microservices concept, and this is an example of a innovation coming straight out of the Niyogin project, which can be reusable in multiple scenarios. I heard one of the speakers earlier in the panel talk about the way a requirement for a solution where number of APIs from government and non-government agencies can be consolidated and brought together into a single call or a single set of services. That is what we have actually achieved with this digital lending platform. There is a demo outside later on that you can actually look at. I'll be very happy to take you through on what it actually does. It's an extensible platform. You can also build very quickly interfaces without requiring a whole monolith setup. You can quickly create your new services as well. So just to briefly talk about InfoAxon and Liferay. So InfoAxon, we help customers deliver compelling digital experiences, and we are basically a technology solution integrator. One of the unique things about us is that we build most of these solutions based on open source. We have a long pedigree of using open source software. We are India's first open source integration company. So we have taken these open source components and created stacks for different customers. So in case of digital lending, we have a separate stack, which is what we have talked about. There's a lot more that we can share to you about the digital lending stack outside when we meet. Liferay is the underlying technology that we use. It is a digital experience platform. It is now based in India since 2010. It has about 40 plus employees available for any support. Using Liferay, what you can also do is, using Liferay, you can also do a number of things. So for example, you have right from web content management systems through to a whole single SOA layer. And it is a very based on a microservices concept. So you really don't have to think of it as or implement a monolith application. So for example, if you were to change one particular or customize one particular component, let's say the audience targeting component, you carry it separately. You actually work on it quite independently of others. This is a unique approach with regards to portal frameworks or digital experience frameworks that has been achieved. It is rare in the market to have that, and analyst reports have also supported it. For 6 years, 7 years, this is the seventh year in a row, it is the only open source platform for digital experience creation, which is alongside in the leader quadrant. So with IBM and the others, it is up there. So now, this is just a list of some of our customers that we have. As you can see, a lot of BFSI and insurance customers are already using Liferay and InfoAxon services to create multiple solutions. I will now invite Mr. Srivaths Varadharajan, our customer as well, for Niyogin Fintech, and talk about really the story that brought the digital change and bring the digital transformation.
Thank you, Shubham, for the introduction. Just a brief introduction about what Niyogin Fintech is all about. Niyogin is a one-year-old company which is listed in BSE and which has got an NBFC license. It's a conscious call that we have named it as Niyogin Fintech Limited because we wanted to lay an example of tech leading the fin and not fin leading the tech, which means tech laying a path for the business to do business, and it's tech that evolves the entire financial services business. We could have called ourselves as financial services, but the architecture is put in such a way that we wanted the complete platformication to be done to create an ecosystem, not only to create a digital lending platform, but also to enable the customer with other ecosystems as well. This is a brief architecture of what we have managed to do in last 7 months' time. In 7 months, this is what is the architecture that has come, and by the time I speak in last 2 months, we have added 6 more integration layers to it. What we have done in last 7 months' time is, as a team, along with the business, what we did is we picked up specific use cases and we went for a hybrid bimodal IT approach to build this entire platformication. So we decided to build it in a different form of layer. We created an engagement layer, we created an API layer, we created core applications layer, we created infrastructure layer, and also we created the complete analytical layer as well. We went with an approach where we went for a detailed analysis of various platforms that are available in the industry, and we specifically pointed out for those platforms in which we can specifically bring agility and which has got a roadmap as well. There was a detailed evaluation that was done on platformication and also pooling up with the team of all those developers and the organizations which can build through this platform. That's how the complete InfoAxon and Liferay coming in the presentation layer became a very important layer for the delivery. So if you look at the presentation layer that we have built on for, we have created a platformication approach for the ecosystem layer to give it for all our partners, for our customers, internal customers and external customers as well. Which means what we have done is we have got not only our web layer through Liferay as a platform with the help of InfoAxon as a partner, which also we have built an API layer which is integrated to the web layer and the backend core applications layer and other the banking system layer as well. What we specifically did was we analyze and identify that when we want to build it in a platformication ecosystem, when a customer uses a particular layer and the entire transaction goes to the transaction system, a seamless approach of same visibility to go into the partners and also the employee of the organization is important. And when you build this kind of an architecture, the seamlessness comes only through a platformication of the whole approach that you bring to the presentation layer. Which means a customer or a partner who starts his journey in the presentation layer through a web, and if he wants to continue the journey on a mobile app or any other layer that is provided to him in the presentation layer, the approach of transaction has to be seamless. It should not be disjointed. And to build that, what we did is we did the microservices architecture approach, and we had around more than 41 APIs that integrated across all this layer put together, which means seamlessly you switch the layers in the presentation layer what you want to do, but the visibility, and there is a one single point of truth that is visible to you. The most important point in this approach was when we went for a complete evaluation of platformication that we did. In 7 months' time, how could we do a 26 applications or 21 applications which is up and running right now for business? It is purely because we focused on a partner approach, which means we had a partner who worked along with us in the presentation layer. We had a partner, which is InfoAxon, who worked along with us in the API layer. And we had them as a partner who also worked along with us in the infrastructure layer. These three components, if you look in the entire architecture, when it comes for the lending business or any BFSI business, if you look upon it, plays a very critical role because the presentation layer brings the complete ingestion of data that comes in. Your API layer connects to all the layers which are there with all the satellite and the allied systems and to the third-party APIs which are available. Like for example, in the presentation layer, if a customer comes in, he doesn't have to do a data entry or a partner doesn't have to do a data entry. All that he requires to do is he has to give us PAN number, he has to give his Aadhaar. We integrate it, we auto-ingest the data. We have given integrations with other systems like your multi-bureau. We have integrated our 3x3 scorecard in BRE, and all this data ingestion, when it comes with the credit scoring comes out in front of the credit underwriter, and the decision becomes much more faster. Today, we have created the platform with the capability that your entire lending is happening digitally. There is no application form. You have a tab-based mobile-first approach that we gave first in the market. That is what we have rolled out. We have 100+ partners now whom we have rolled out to it. Our partner onboarding takes not more than 3 minutes. Our customer onboarding end-to-end through the digital journey does not take more than 30 minutes for us. The remaining time we take 5 days or 4 days is for the complete underwriting, decisioning, the other checks, the fraud checks, the bureau checks, and the informed decision that you need to take because we are dealing with unsecured business loan for SME. And you know that there are a lot of unstructured data and there's no standardization of data available. Of course, tomorrow when GST and APIs and other things comes with GST and 1, 2 and 3 in picture, things are going to become far more easier for us. We are ready with the GST and API that is integrated, but the quality of data is very, very important for you to decide on how the credit underwriting decisions will work for. The important part that we did is when we decided this architecture between the presentation layer to the end layer, we ensured that we bring the elasticity for the business from the day one. So we didn't go for the infrastructure to build in-house and manage in-house. We went for secured hybrid public cloud, and we have built all these components of elasticity. We kept in mind that the data ingestions are coming through both structured and unstructured data. So we have built the MI systems, the marts, and we have built a capability of Fabric where the data warehousing is ready to be built with marts with the capability that it can take care for the business for next 3 to 5 years when the data is completely available. So it's an analytical driven approach with a presentation layer which is robust, with a microservices architecture with an API which is independently connected to all the systems, which is glued with the external APIs which are readily available. You leverage on your strengths of building these things internally, leverage on the strengths of APIs available externally, and that's how you enable the business to be ready for next 7 months' time to do business. And that's how you call it as Fintech, where tech leads the fin. Thank you.